Hello, everybody. My name is Marjolie Henley, and I am a reading faculty here at Mesa Community College. I wanted to take this time to sort of talk to you a little bit about the features of Nearpod and how we can bring this tool into our classroom environment for our students. There are three things that I'm going to talk a little bit about in this video. One is the purpose of Nearpod and sort of what it was meant to be. The second is going to be able to give you the perspective of an instructor, so you'll be able to see sort of what an instructor's view is, and the perspective of a student. I want to take you inside of my classroom and sort of give you an idea of what this would look like coming to fruition. Now, I'm going to use the perspective of using it as an assessment tool. There are many things that Nearpod can do because Nearpod is an interactive presentation and can be used as an assessment tool, which is the focus that I'm going to have today. There are apps, there are polls, there are videos that you can bring in. You can take them to different places so they can sort of have an interactive perspective of what it's like to go to another environment. But for the purpose of this presentation, I'm just going to focus on assessment. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to assist in implementation of this program. So now let's take a look at some of the features that are in Nearpod. So you have My Library, you have Explore, Join a Session, Create, and Reports. So we're going to start a little bit with My Library. And this is where you have sort of dropped all of your lessons. And what I mean by dropping your lessons is if you've created them in PowerPoint or you've created them in some other program, you can drop and drag your files and sort of drop the lessons here so that you can add interactive pieces into your already created PowerPoint. So you can add content, add web content, or add an activity. For the purpose of this, since we're talking about assessment, I'm going to go ahead and just focus on the adding activity. In this piece, you can add certain things like open-ended questions in which you create, or maybe they're already something that's created and you just want to get a quick feel for how the students are taking in and whether they're understanding the information before you move on to the next step. And then you have polls and quizzes, draw it, and one of my favorites is Collaborate. And the reason why I like this particular feature is because I often use it as an exit ticket for me. So I may have an exit ticket question and that will students will be able to sort of post their answer as they're going. Now, they won't be able to see who responded or who said what, but I, as the instructor, we from our view can see who is able to answer the questions, and then maybe for the next day or the next time that I see them, if I wanted to differentiate instruction for small group workstations or small group lessons, then I can use that data to sort of group them. I'm going to go back to home where those buttons were with My Library, Explore, Join, Create, and Reports. So we looked at My Library and the features on how I can create certain formative assessment questions. But if I go down here, it will also show you the reports that I have been provided from those questions. And so we'll take a look at this one for ritual feedback, as we were talking about rituals and sort of the cultural aspects of in the classroom. And so there was a quiz or a poll, or you can do an open-ended question. There's your draw it, and there is your collaborate. And then it will provide you details on how they answered the open-ended question or the polls or the draw it or whatever it is that you decided that you wanted to sort of gather information on.
There's nothing better than to go inside the classroom and have a live session to see sort of what this looks like. That code at the top is the code that you saw earlier that pops up on your screen once you create your lesson. This is the code that you will give students in order for them to put in place into their device, whether it be a phone or an iPad.
So when students are given the opportunity to assess using the Nearpod device, they are awarded the freedom by their teacher to be able to pick what topic interests them the most. And based on that topic, they're able to present to their peer students who then assess using the Nearpod.
As you can see here, this is sort of what the screen would look like with their cell phones if you were giving them sort of a multiple choice option to choose from. There are also opportunities for them to be able to type their answers in if you have an open-ended question.
They are choosing to write their responses based on improvement or what they liked most about the presentation, and you'll see that highlighted here. They can choose either an open text box where they can write a full answer, or the next section you'll see the students will be able to conceptualize their box to a smaller frame. It gives them more control over their texting board so that they can see and edit their answer a lot more better than easily submitting it.
As you can see right here, once they've submitted their answers, it kind of gives them a little bit of feedback. It just says great, just to let them know that the response has been received by the instructor. Now, once you get to the instructor screen, you'll be able to sort of see results of who participated and what answers that they submitted as an instructor from your screen. Maybe if you're using your laptop in the back or in the back of the room or wherever it is that you are. I have used both a laptop and the iPads so you can interchange with different interfaces as an instructor.
You can also call this the behind-the-scenes portion of the Nearpod assessment. That's how I like to refer to it because this is strictly what the instructor sees. The students have no access to see what the other students are responding to, the answers that are coming in. It's strictly from the instructor's side that they're able to see this. So from here, you're able to transition between your questions. You won't see any results yet as the questions are transitioning, but you are able to pull up the screen and see all the names of your students that are listed in your screen. And from there, as they are responding to the questions, you'll get a signal of a dot indicating that the students are answering those questions.
It also tells you the percentage of people that have participated. Now, rule of thumb for me is that I like to wait until that participation gets to about 70% before I move on to the next question, and I do give them sort of a countdown. Also, if you notice, there's a red share button on the side. If, in fact, I wanted to use this and share this to for everyone to see, it would share the answer and not who actually submitted the answer, so that maybe I want to ask about how they write a reflection of some sort. I share that with everyone, and then we correct it together as a classroom. That might be one way that I would use the share button. Now here you will see the data collection piece, and that is what comes up on the instructor's screen after all of your session is complete. So you will see all of the responses that the students were able to that the students provided to you in sort of one big format, so that then you can drive or differentiate your instruction for the next time that you have class, or you could choose to develop small group instruction for those students who may not have understood the components or objectives that you had for the lesson of that day. There are just many ways that you would be able to use this, but you could surely assess where they are and what it is that you've taught for that lesson.